What we're going to talk about right now is how does vulnerability contribute to personal development? And I think that there's a lot of different ways to go about this. I'm going to do some bit broad strokes. When I think about vulnerability, especially as a man, that can get kind of scary. Men aren't supposed to cry, or we're not supposed to share our feelings, or, let's take the scenario being at the bar on a Friday. Hey, Bob, how are you? I'm good. How's your week? Good. Can I buy you a beer? Yeah. How about those Broncos? There's no vulnerability in it. There's no intimacy. Into me you see. Love Guru. Great movie. That vulnerability that comes from things aren't good. Having what I call an echo chamber, someone to talk to, someone to speak to intimately, someone to be vulnerable with. If it's your coach or your husband or your wife or someone, having what I call a safe with someone that you're I am continuously putting things into, where I don't have to go back, no, you remember this, well, this came from this and this and that. So I have this length of time where I'm safe to be vulnerable with someone. And how that becomes valuable is if I choose to be vulnerable and say that I'm angry at myself or a situation, or I wish I had performed differently, then I can usher in an opportunity for what's called feedback, or someone else to hold a mirror, or to not be so zoomed in and take a bigger look out, zoom out. When it comes to personal development, you'll hear me say this a lot, is honesty is paramount. It just is. Being honest with, I'm not okay, or I'm disgusted at my behavior. Now, having a vulnerability to have that discussion with someone, your coach or a friend, a wife, a husband, those kinds of things, can get whacked. And then it can cease vulnerability. Or like with men, back in the old days, before MapQuest, it was, are we going the right way? Yeah, I know where I'm going. Well, we're in Texas. We're supposed to be in Florida. I know where I'm going. We should maybe pull over for some directions. No, I know where I'm going. Sometimes for men, we have that need of feeling like we're in control, or that we're not lost, or what turns into is going and what's called riding fences. They're just out in the prairie alone because they get whacked, or they get made wrong, or they're embarrassed, or why do you think that way? Oh my God, men don't cry. Buck up. Be a man. And so when those thoughts of, not doing something great, if there isn't a place to be vulnerable with another human being, it can really stifle personal development. Having that need or want to grow, it's vital. Actually, it is. It's vital to have someone to talk to so that it can be dissected a bit. And okay, now what? Right on. And I can tell you this. If you're in a position in your life, and I'll speak for myself, where someone does speak to me intimately, they do speak to me vulnerable, I say thank you, for trusting me with that information, right? Are you open to feedback? Are you just throwing up? Are you just needing a good listener? And I ask them straight away, what do you need from me right now? After I listen, right? Just let it come. Just let it come. And at the other end of it, how would you like me to show up in this conversation? Vulnerability and intimacy are almost hand in hand to me, right? Intimacy, into me you see. I've practiced with intimacy and vulnerability at a very, very, very high level. After practicing it with so long, I am authentic. And it's one of the biggest things I say about myself. You may not like me, you may not like how I handle myself, or that I cuss too much, or too tattooed, or whatever. However, nearly anyone that's around me will say that I'm authentic. I believe in vulnerability. I believe that when we share with each other, when we are intimate with each other, then it gives this grace and this place that we can play from for growth. Something that I like to do is when someone's intimate or vulnerable with me, and especially when it comes to personal development, I will actually say, hey, I hear that. I can see how that could be difficult. And then I will share something that's going on in my life that is nearly the same or could relate to what they're saying. So that I come down from the pulpit preaching, looking to take up an offering, and come down with the people in the parish or just with the human being. It makes sure that we're eye level. I struggle. I do not show up the way I want to show up all the time. And it's a way of me getting eye level with them so that they know that they're human and that I know that I am. Or listening in a way was, wow, how does that show up in my life? Well, it doesn't show up like that. And this is nearly the same thing. And it brings forth grace and understanding. Vulnerability is, I cherish it so much. When I tell the truth and when I'm intimate with people, I create a relationship where they can then do the same. Now, they may go off to other relationships and do what they do. However, a lot of people that know me play with me the way I want to play with, And they know coming in, they can be intimate and vulnerable with me because I'm about personal development. I did this, I'm taking a look at it. I'm investigating it, not good or bad. What was it? And moving forward. And I'm okay with being vulnerable about my transgressions or supposed sin or supposed transgressions. It's sin. I missed the mark. That's all sin means, is I missed the mark. And when I'm honest and when I'm intimate about whatever it is, I can actually bring more to my personal development. When I don't beat myself up for too long and go, okay, well, that was interesting. Wash it off at the end of the day. Oh, I could have done that better. And then go about it differently the next day. For me, and I think for a lot of people, it feels like there's too much ego involved in wanting to express myself to other people because it either brings me down or I feel like they may take advantage or weaponize my words or gaslight me or all these fancy new words that are going on. Ultimately, it's just feeling misunderstood. And I don't want to be vulnerable. I don't want to look weak. I don't want feedback. I actually like wallowing around in my, I know what to do, but I'm not going to tell anybody. I know what to do. I kind of like this silliness that I'm doing right now. And so it's also a way of pushing away more personal development sooner. When I think about vulnerability, and then for me, it also couples being intimate. It's a skill. It is a tool. Well, it's a way of life. It came to me to talk about how I use it in my own life. For what I've created with my friends and people that I talk to and as a great coach is I believe that when I am vulnerable, it creates a space for other people to be vulnerable. What do I want in my relationship? And I make a list. And I take a look at in the list, what am I not currently doing? Well, I value vulnerability, right? I value intimacy, so I'd want to be that, right? It's going and looking for a partner or being the partner I would want to have. It's that train of thought, right? When I'm open and honest about what's going on for myself, I have less to think about, for one. And I've been doing it so long that I have an immense amount of respect for it. I know that people have an opportunity to judge me, and they already do. They already do. Everybody judges, just whether or not they're willing to admit it. However, I know for me, when I'm authentic, when I'm vulnerable and I'm intimate with people, I have less to hold on to. I just am who I am. And the people that are supposed to be in my life are there. They respect that. They know that it's a bit much to be my friend because I'm a little like drinking water off a fire hydrant. And they also know that that's the way I live my life. And because I put that out there, it's the kind of people I attract or it's the kind of people I repel. And I'm good with it. I believe in setting an example. I believe that if I want it out of a relationship, I must also be that. And especially as a coach, some coaches will avoid personal testimony or personal, I understand you, I get you, because they want to be, in the lead and let's go towards your goals. And for me, I'd rather almost stop, be vulnerable so that who I'm working with or even my friend or my wife or whatever, I don't have that Superman cape on all the time because I don't. Sometimes it's at the dry cleaner, right? Or it's getting a hole sewn up in it because the battle before was hard. Just don't prescribe to having to look awesome all the time, because the truth of it is I'm not. And when I give way to reducing ego, which I've always heard is edging God out, I have more of an opportunity to be authentic, to be who I am in my completeness. Sometimes I'm incredibly masculine and sometimes I'm incredibly feminine. And I've done all kinds of studies about, the good and bad of that, if you will. And I'm good with the way I hold myself. I'm good with it. I'm good with my brand of a man. And a part of it is being vulnerable. And a part of it is being intimate. And a part of what's going on with men is they are unwilling to be vulnerable. And a part of it's because they get whacked when they are, or they feel like they've got to be all macho or, ego, or they don't have good men around them to talk to or good people to talk to. Yes, I just spoke about men. Switch it to women. Same thing, right? Women are catty sometimes, right? So they don't want to share with each other. Oh my gosh, he's doing that. Yes, he is, and he's my husband. I'm not wanting to get into a complaint battle about him. I'm looking for some feedback on how do I do this, and I'm being, I can't be, got it, I just got whacked. So there goes intimacy. There goes vulnerability, because they either got made wrong, they got told what to do, and they didn't ask for that. How would I want people to be with me if I came and started throwing up on them? If I was in a vulnerable spot? Cary freaking Grant. And I'm in a vulnerable spot. Something's happening. I just lost a ton of money. I had a argument with my wife, and I where do I go? Do I have those safe spaces? I do. Me going out there is I create a space for people to come to me because they know that I am what I am. Popeye, right? I am open. I am vulnerable. I am intimate. I am gentle and compassionate at times, right? I do get judgmental. Do this, do that. And I usually want to steer clear of that because it's I'm your dad, right? Or I'm your pastor, or I know better than you, and I'm not you. I'm not. Part of it is finding the key and what hole to put it in, because not everybody should I be intimate with or vulnerable with. Now, I usually am, because I'm, as far as I know, my key hits every door, right? And I don't care. It's going to work or it's not. You're either going to be in my life or you're not. I'm at that point. I'm at that point, right? Getting going on this is test it. See where the key works. I want to be vulnerable. Who can I be vulnerable with? Susie. Nope. Oh, that went wrong because she's toxic about her husband. That key did not work. What about Betty? Hey, I got some stuff going on. Ooh, good feedback. Ooh, and they shared something with me. Oh, I'm not alone in this world. Other people have issues too. Cool. Betty is now in my echo chamber. And you create that safe, that place where you can share and not have to go, well, remember 6 months ago, They know already. So it's finding those outlets. Not everyone is an outlet, right? Because they have their own trauma and their own drama and their own shadows and their own things. However, be brave enough and have enough courage to find some people to be vulnerable with and tell them the nitty gritty. Maybe after you've tested it to see if it's a good pick, right? And it's not being scared to shut a door. Yep. Okay. Got it. I literally just got a phone call right now, and it's a shut door now. It became something I don't want it to be. I'm going to protect myself. I have boundaries, and this person is unable to shift into what I asked for, and so it's over. I'm good. I've got plenty of people to be intimate and vulnerable with. People that offer me, Cary Grant, feedback. And I value it. And I've searched it out. And I've tested it. And I know where I'm safe. And I know that I value it. And I know that I love being an example. And I know that I'm capable of creating relationships in my life where I don't have to be alone. And be a man out riding fences. because nobody listens to me or nobody talks to me, or I won't get my ego out of the way to say some stuff that someone could judge me for. However, find the people that I could be safe with to say those things to. Wow, man, I hear you. I also know the champion you are. I know the champion you are. Thank you for choosing me. Let's talk that through a bit. Did you want to talk that through? Oh, you don't. You just wanted to throw up. Okay, great. I've got some ideas on it. If you ever want to circle back, let's do that. However, you wanted to throw up. Boom. Are you complete? You are? Okay, I love you, man. Thanks for sharing with me. I appreciate it. Did you want me to be in this conversation to give you feedback? Do you want me to be a committed listener? Do you want me to blow the world apart with you? Mom, I suck as a dad. Yeah, you do. Right? Just play along. Just play along. What does the other person need? What will continue to have them step outside of keeping everything in and staying small? But creating an echo chamber, a place for a person to speak, a place for a person to feel safe, a place to grow, to become more developed, refined, transformed, because they found their tribe. I implore you to find people that are in your tribe and practice and own. There's people on the planet you can be open and honest with and vulnerable with, and it will absolutely support you in growth. You may have to close some doors, and it could take time, and it could be lightning fast. It's a worthy journey. I'm unable to tell you how thankful I am for how many people I could be vulnerable with and intimate with and get some feedback.